Russia and China have once again made headlines. The two countries have signed a new deal. What's it about? It's a deal essentially to challenge the NATO in the Arctic region. The countries want to reap the Arctic's natural resources and block its access from the West. And Moscow is following this up with building defense in the region. Will the next war be over the Arctic? And what more is Moscow planning to do? You see, Russia has been quite active as far as the Arctic is concerned. Moscow recently, in fact, held an Arctic rescue exercise. 9 African, Latin American and Eurasian countries joined these drills, and Russia's strong ally China stood as an observer to these drills. The two countries describe their ties as a no-limits partnership. They have now signed a maritime law enforcement agreement. Although the details of the deal have not been disclosed, we know that this will protect their strategic interests in the Arctic. Things are heating up. Russia's main aim is to challenge the NATO and the West. And how exactly is Moscow planning to establish an offensive in the Arctic? The Kremlin, you see, is building more military outposts. And this includes deep water ports and airfields. Does Russia want to make the Arctic a battleground? Moscow has opened multiple Arctic military facilities in the past decade, and experts say the region could become a war zone if Western governments don't take action. So why is Russia trying to block the Arctic for itself? Moscow regards the Arctic as its backyard. It wants access to the hydrocarbon resources in the region. Hydrocarbons make up the majority of petroleum and natural gas. And dominance over the resource would highly benefit Russia. In fact, the country has also lodged a claim with the United Nations to get a legal right to the riches. And just how resource-rich is the Arctic region really? Well, the region has vast, untapped resources, and this includes important rare earth elements. Russia and China value the Arctic's mineral deposits. These are deposits worth more than $30 trillion. Studies show that a third of the world's undiscovered natural gas lies in the Arctic. So it's no surprise that the countries want the region for themselves. And how are other countries reacting to this new deal? The Arctic states are not convinced about the maritime agreement. Members of the Arctic Council, in fact, have refused to deal with Moscow, especially after its invasion of Ukraine. Let's just tell you about the Arctic Council. The Council currently has 7 members: the US, Russia, Canada, Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Sweden, and Norway. The Arctic Council is an organization that handles matters regarding the Arctic area and its native population. Russia is no longer a permanent member and presides over the Council on a rotating basis. The Council had to stop 130 collaborative operations, and the members stopped communication with Moscow. This led to Russia concentrating on its own Arctic agenda, which, by the way, resulted in the new maritime deal with China. Experts say Moscow feels threatened by the NATO and the Arctic Council. And so, as a result, it is increasing cooperation with China and other non-Western partners like India. It's not only Russia which has a strong agenda as far as the Arctic is concerned. China has sought a bigger role in the Arctic affairs. This comes as political and economic ties deepen with Moscow, and experts say that Russia could be China's best route to gain greater influence over the region. China, which has declared itself as a near-Arctic state, aims to grab access to the Arctic's shipping lanes and resources. And that's not even all. Beijing has proposed a Silk Road on ice. And this would be a massive network of Arctic routes. China has claimed itself as a stakeholder in Arctic affairs. It says that climate change in the region would directly impact its environment and the economy. Beijing says it upholds an important mission. What's the mission? To promote peace and security in the region. Well, the new maritime deal seems to represent quite the contrary. The heated contest over the Arctic seems to not be slowing down. In fact, Russia and China's attempt to dominate the region could escalate tensions further between the West and Russia. Where are things headed? Will the desire for natural resources turn into a heated conflict? Would the Arctic become the next battleground? WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.